Hey guys, hope you are doing well today. Wanted to make a video kind of providing a little bit more context, a little bit more background knowledge on our assignment over the short story, The Turtle. Saying that it's a short story is kind of false. It's actually just a chapter within another book that John Steinbeck wrote called The Grapes of Wrath. But it's very, very different from the rest of the book and taken out of the book, it can kind of serve as its own story somewhat. Um, I always like to start off with this because it does a really great job of kind of introducing this really uh, complex part of lit called an extended metaphor. So we're actually going to be using this chapter and kind of exploring what an extended metaphor is and connecting this story to more of the historical context of mice and men with the Oklahoman farmers and traveling out west in search of work. So to kick things off, I've provided the definition of an extended metaphor to you. We all know what a metaphor is. It's a comparison of two unlike things, not using the word like or as. That definition has probably been beaten into you guys ever since you were in junior high. Uh, but the more advanced version of it is looking at a metaphor and not only looking at two unlike things, but we're looking at an entire story or an entire section of a story and how that section of text can be a metaphor for something larger, something bigger. We're going to be taking a look at what an extended metaphor is in real life with the chapter known as the turtle. So, something that can really kind of hammer this idea of extended metaphor even further is that I always like to tell students that whenever trying to dig deep into something, which you're going to have to whenever it comes to something deep and complex like an extended metaphor, is that you always want to kind of find the right balance between what is literally happening in the story or a block of text and what is it figuratively about. So I always like to call it the balance between the literal and the figurative. So the story that we're going to be reading, or the chapter that we're going to be reading, The Turtle, is literally about a turtle trying to cross a road and kind of like the obstacles that that turtle faces when he's trying to cross the road. But what is it figuratively about? What is the deeper meaning happening here? Okay. And always trying to connect it to life in general. However, we're going to take it a step a little bit more specifically. And what might this be saying about the Oklahoman farmers as they're traveling west? Okay. So that is something that we're going to be taking a look at whenever we read The Turtle. So we talked a little bit about this. But again, this is an extended metaphor, and it's about the experience of Oklahoman farmers traveling west. Literally, it's about a turtle's journey, but everything represents something larger. Okay, so it talks a lot in detail about kind of like the struggles and the obstacles that the turtle faces. But we're not just going to read those things as they appear. We're going to try to connect meaning to those obstacles and specifically what they might be attributed to during that journey of farmers trying to travel west. Okay. So we can't really highlight or underline anything since we're going to be going about this digitally. However, we can still try to find specifics in the story and try to attach meaning to it. Okay. So some basic things that you guys can ask yourself is this road that this turtle is traveling on, what could that road possibly symbolize? Okay. Or there's going to be a lot of talks about seeds that this turtle is dragging with it whenever it's making its journey. What could those seeds possibly symbolize? So you want to start to think about what a seed does. Obviously, you put it under the ground in hopes that it can grow into something else. Again, we're going to try to attach larger meaning to that object in this chapter. So again, it is literally just about a turtle, okay? But this turtle is on some type of journey. So obviously, if we're supposed to attach it to the historical context in which we're talking about for this book and in this chapter, the turtle is the Oklahoman farmer, right? So that's the person that's on the journey, that's on this path, that a lot of obstacles stand in its way. So the turtle, I'll help you guys out a little bit, even though it's not that difficult. The turtle is the Oklahoma farmer. Okay. As you guys are going to be reading this story, you'll notice that in the first paragraph, it talks about like foxtails and oat oat burrs and kind of clover burrs and stuff like that. So I always like to give a visual whenever I have students read this section. So think about like cockaburs. That's what my family called them growing up. It's like those little thorny ball plant things that kind of like they're really easy to get attached to like the bottom of your jeans whenever you're walking through a field, or they stick in like a lot of dog's hair really easily. So when it's talking about those like different types of like plants in that very top paragraph of the chapter, think of this. So think of like those cockaburs that like get attached to like hairy like dog coats and like the bottom of your pants and stuff like that. So you will notice, Pete, my awesome stock photo of a road here. So as I mentioned, the turtle is on a journey, and it's going to be talking about a highway embankment. Even though I'm sure that you guys could figure it out, highway embankment is just kind of like this steep uh, hill thing that's off the side of a road. And our turtle has to first climb the embankment and then kind of jump over this portion of the of the highway. So our turtle's journey like actually starts down here, and then it kind of slowly has to go uphill a little bit. All right. You will notice that it talks about wild oats and stuff like that. Again, that's just kind of like the wild oats that we see kind of growing out in any type of field or something like that. One of these gets attached to one of the turtle's front claws, and it kind of like carries these oats or the seeds with him as he's having his journey. So whenever you think wild oats, just picture something like this. And last but not least, it talks about a concrete wall that our turtle has to slowly climb over in order to get to the actual road, the asphalt part of the road itself. So after the turtle climbs that steep highway embankment here, he is encountered with, sorry, Little Wayne. That was another part of a presentation that I created a long time ago. Our turtle has to climb over a small, like 4-inch concrete wall in order to get to the actual road part. Okay, so I always kind of like to give visuals because this is such a visual chapter that we're about to read. It kind of helps whenever you have some images that like correlate to it a little bit. So hopefully this helped. There will be an assignment, Google Docs attached to the same assignment. You should find that in Google Classroom right where you clicked on this video. So I hope this helped you guys. This is going to be the last sort of thing that we do before we jump into Of My Submit. If you have any questions, please let me know.